Hi guys, a blessed good day to you all. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to prepare this delicious beef and cheese pinwheel. Okay guys, so let's take a quick look at the ingredients you'll need for this recipe. Here I have some all-purpose flour, some regular whole milk, 1 egg, some granulated sugar. I'll be using salted butter, but feel free to use unsalted and add a pinch of salt to the recipe. I also have some yeast. So let's get started. To your warm milk, you want to add your sugar and the yeast, give it a stir. Now I'm using fast rise active yeast, so I don't have to allow this to proof first. We will follow up with all the rest of the ingredients and then we will apply it to our flour. You want to mix until you form a nice soft dough. Now if the dough seems to be too wet and sticky, you can add a tiny bit of flour, but not too much. Always remember that the texture of your dough when it is raw, that's the same texture you will have when the dough is actually cooked. So you don't want the dough to be too firm and hard. You want it nice, soft, and sticky. And you will get the perfect results when this is baked in the oven. So once the dough comes together, I will add a bit of oil and then I will just knead it a little bit, and then we will cover this and allow it to rest for about an hour or so, allowing it to double in size. So now moving on to the filling. Here I have some fresh ground beef and I'll be using some pickled bell peppers. Feel free to use fresh if you have it. I have some scallions, parsley, garlic, onions, some ketchup and cassareep. If you want to use Chinese sauce, go ahead. I have some flour. For the seasoning, I'll be using some paprika, black pepper, chicken bouillon, complete seasoning, seasoned salt, some dried thyme, flour, and some fresh green seasoning. Here to a skillet, I've added my beef and you want to break that apart and allow it to brown a bit before we start seasoning it. Next, we will add our dry seasoning and then we will come in with the fresh green seasoning. Give it a good toss and allow this to go for about 5 minutes or so before we proceed to the next step. Now you want to add your aromatics, the onion, garlic. We will add that pickled bell peppers. Now for my peppers, whenever I have peppers sitting in the fridge too long, I just go ahead and pickle them so that they can last and I don't have to throw them away. So here I will add my ketchup and my cassareep for color. And we will give that a toss and allow it to go for about 2 to 3 minutes or so, allowing the aromatics to cook down and soften up nicely. And now we will go in with our flour. The flour helps to moisten the ground beef so it's not so dry. We will, allow that to go for about a minute or so, and then we will add about 2 tablespoons of water. And yeah, that's basically it. You have nice, moist, juicy, delicious ground beef filling. We will turn the heat off and allow this to cool down completely before moving on to the next step. For this next step, you will need a nice baking dish with parchment paper. I have some white cheddar cheese and some yellow cheddar cheese and my ground beef filling. So here my dough has risen and doubled in size. You want to punch the dough down and we will release that air that's inside of the dough. Then we will flour our surface, lay it onto the surface, and we will roll the dough out into a square shape, a round shape, whatever shape you want to roll it out in. Go ahead and you want to roll it into about a 1/2 inch size thick. And then we will start to fill the dough with that ground beef filling. And once your dough is all rolled out, you want to go ahead and equally apply your filling on top of the dough, leaving the edges, the sides, free so that you can roll it up like when you're making a cinnamon roll. Now, some people would add cheese on top of that filling, but I prefer not to. I've done it both ways, and not adding the cheese directly inside of the dough is my preference. I like to use the cheese as a topping instead. So, if you want to add your cheese, you can go ahead and add it on top of your ground beef. And yeah, now I like to cut the ends off, the ends that has no meat in it. I just discard that piece, and I just continue to cut this up into equal pieces and place it into my baking dish and carry on with the same step until I'm all done. And that's basically it, guys. Super simple and easy. By the way, I'm using dental floss to cut my pinwheel. Next, you want to cover these with a kitchen towel or a damp paper towel and allow them to rise again for about 30 minutes before we place them inside of the oven. After 30 minutes, they have risen again, and now we will place some cheese over top before we place them in a 355-degree oven for about 30 minutes or so. Once they become nice and golden brown and the cheese has melted, that's how you know that it's time to remove them from the oven. After about 30 minutes inside of the oven, this is how they are looking. They smell so amazing. But what I like to do is go over them with some melted butter, just so they are nice and moist and shiny. And we will, after this, follow up with some ketchup. After the butter, you want to add a little ketchup. Don't ask me why we do this. It's just the way it's made, so I am going with tradition. After the ketchup, you want to add some cheese, fresh cheese. You want to top it, and then we will add some parsley just for a pop of color and brightness. And that's it, guys. My version of the most delicious, moist, and amazing beef pinwheel. So let's see what these are looking like after they have cooled down for about 20 minutes. I will show you guys, how they look. They were so moist, pillowy, and fluffy. Like I said, the way your dough is when it's raw, that's exactly how it will turn out when it's cooked. Our dough was nice and soft and moist, and this is the result. So pillowy soft, and the filling in there was absolutely amazing. I can't wait for you guys to give this recipe a try. If you enjoy my video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and leave a comment down below. I will leave all my ingredients and measurements down in the description box, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Have a good day. I appreciate your support, and as always, enjoy.